So today we're going to talk about religion. What is a religion? What is a true religion? And what are some not so true religions? The question becomes important for somebody who wants to explore the life in its fullest form. Once we are born, we have a lot of decisions to make in life. We look for guidance in different sources, and hopefully will be guided in the right directions. There are some people who will choose the path of materialism from the time they're born till they die. They never come out of the material life, and that is fine too, as long as they think that life is acceptable and that life is just sufficient for us, for them. That's good enough. So, in the material life, you may end up using legal, illegal, whatever ways you do to maximize the amount of pleasure that you can have in life. And that's also fine, and because it comes with its own problems, sufferings, anxiety, grief, anger, jealousy, all these things are part of the material life, and which is fine if you can deal with all that and still be happy and think that you are on the right path. There is nothing wrong with that. The only thing is that by the time the life ends, we have never explored our spiritual side, because we do have dual component. Just like anything else, everything is material and spiritual. Everything is material and non-material. So the non-material aspect of our life, which we are made up of, physical as well as non-physical, the metaphysical, we never get the chance to explore. So material path has its own disadvantages also. Now, if you want to explore the spiritual side, there are also problems, because in the spiritual side also there is a material pollution, because there are some religions, they would like to keep you involved in the material aspect of the religions. So a lot of religions have become materialized also, and there are religions which are healthy religions, and there are a lot of religions which are unhealthy religions. And that's even worse than the materialism, because materialism is out there open, that we don't talk about God, we don't talk about spirituality, this is what it is. This is Las Vegas casino, and that's about it. This is business as usual, and you believe it and take it as it is. But there are a lot of subtle ways religions also can be presented to you in a business forms, in a commercialized forms. It may not be necessarily intended that way either. It might have been done in a subconscious fashion, and you have to really make sure that you don't fall into the pitfalls of these kind of religions. The material life gives you pleasure right away, and there is no way two ways about it. Okay, here is your pleasure, you enjoy it, at least there is an immediate reward for it. The religions, on the other hand, can give you potential rewards for the future. So the reward may come, may not come, and meanwhile there are two ways you are really losing out. One, you're wasting your time, and two, the pleasure may come, may not come. So you're losing out on both hands.
You are conditioning this on the basis of the pleasure you get from the material.
Right.
So on that base, you are hoping that you
exactly.
But right. If your pleasure is definition of your pleasure is
right.
different,
then the pleasure is immediate.
You have immediate.
Agree. That's what I'm saying. So it is the job of the religions to make you realize that the pleasure that you're seeking is not the pleasure that we're promising, right? And whatever they promise, if they make it a future event, then again, we are really not much different than the material life, because in material life also, there is an effort.
It's a transaction.
It's a transaction, and we're really not changing the gamut of the whole thing, the format of the whole activity. On the religious, we are really not changing anything, because in this side also we're doing an effort, and we promised a place in the heaven, apsaras and
Right.
whatnot, and you do this kind of, you do this amount of tap, and you will have this much of karmas you earned and punyas you earned. Really, language is not much different. So the question is, what are we supposed to do? So we want a religion which gives you immediate pleasure, light material side, does not keep you focused in the future, and yet it's not material. So that's what we need to explore, and where should we go? And that's the bottom line. So what is a true religion? And that's what we really, the focus of the discussion today, right?
I would say that, this is, the religion word should be like eliminated from the dictionary.
Agree. The only
There
problem,
should not be any religion.
right. In the lack of better word, we call it religion, because theoretically the job of religion is to wake up your spiritual side. In a true definition of a religion, a dharma is adhar. Adhar is something you can fall back to, and something that cannot escape from you. The nature of a fire is the heat. Fire cannot consider itself cold. Fire has to be
The
hot.
Sanskrit word dharma, really literal meaning is your duties.
Yeah.
Right?
There are
This
many
is your
definitions.
dharma.
Yeah,
The
dharma.
duty.
There are many definitions,
Yeah.
because the duties are again based on what's your nature,
Yeah.
right? A fire says that, okay,
But without any expectations. It does,
agree,
there is no-
agree,
Right.
agree. But like say, fire wants to spread heat
Right.
in the world, right? That is its dharma.
Hmm.
The fire is born so that it can spread heat
Heat,
in the
yeah,
world,
right.
right? But the fire cannot say, I'm gonna spread coolness today.
Right.
It has to stick to its own original nature.
Nature, right.
So again, it has to go back to its adhar. Adhar is something it can rely
Support.
on.
Yeah.
Something that is a basic support. It cannot escape from it,
Yeah.
right? So again, we're going back to the same thing. So whenever you realize whatever is your true self and express it, that's all it can do. So they're all interwoven. That your duties, now the fire as a fire cannot perform its duty unless there is heat built into it. You know what I'm saying? So there is not much of a difference between something that you can fall back and whatever your duties. Your duties, if I am a male, I want to be the best son possible, I have to be a male first. My maleness is adhar, or the support for me to express my maleness outside to be a perfect son or a perfect husband or a perfect father,
Right.
right? So these are all interwoven things, yes, so I agree. So whichever way you look at it, basically it is your spontaneous nature. That's what dharma is, right? So if we use word dharma, and a lot of dharmas have been used as religions,
Right.
if you remove dharma, then we have nothing else to talk about.
Right.
So that's why I use religion, because it's the talk in English. There are no dharma word
Right.
equivalent of dharma in
Right.
English. So,
Right.
and yes, religion word has been overused and misused and abused and all this thing. That's why we have to be careful. So
Yeah.
Pradeep is right.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think the
No, it does
equivalent
not
word.
convey basically, like it does not convey the meaning.
Well, it doesn't
of
convey because it has
religion.
been misused so many
Right.
times. There's so much corruption, so much materialism has
Yeah.
gotten
Equivalent
into.
to dharma is a fundamental nature of a.
That's the way it should be.
Yeah. Nature of an entity is like a fire's nature is to spread heat.
I mean,
A flower's nature is to spread aroma.
Right.
but that is
But
you are
what he's
describing
saying-
still material things you are describing.
No,
Right.
no,
No,
it's,
no.
he's right. What Bakulba is saying, that when the flower is spreading the fragrance,
Right.
we are not talking about the flower and the fragrance.
Yeah.
What is happening?
Yeah.
What
It's
is
nature.
happening
It's
at
in
the
its nature.
spiritual level is a spontaneity
Right.
of the flower to express the fragrance. That's what we're talking
There is no
about.
transaction. Like
And
flower doesn't ask
flower-
for anything back. It doesn't care who else is nearby.
Right.
It could be a serpent or a person.
Exactly, it doesn't matter. So we are talking about the spontaneity of life.
Right.
But that subtle aspect of the discussion, subtle aspect of the existence, that how the existence is unfolding in front of us, your maleness, my maleness, somebody else's femaleness, somebody else's childness.
Right.
That spontaneity and the expression is the true religion that we're talking about. But immediately whenever you talk to somebody about a religion,
Right.
the traditional
Yeah.
expression comes out, say, okay, religions means Jainism, Hinduism,
Yeah.
Christianity, and Muslim, and that's where we fall. And that's why Pradeep is right in his way that we should just discard that talk about religion, because that's what is actually misguiding us.
Right.
And that's the focus of the discussion today, actually. So where is this religion located? That's what we really should look for, so that we can be on the correct path right from the beginning. Because otherwise the path that we're going to choose is going to take us so far from the reality that someday we're going to wake up and we say we wasted our 70, 80, 90 years of life, and look what happened. Ultimately we are really nowhere, and we have wasted our whole life. So should we look for religion, all these mosques and temples and gurudwaras and churches, and is this what we should be looking for? Should we be looking for religion in the statues and all these symbols that has been created in the name of religions? Or should we look for within, where there is an actual interplay of the matter with the spirit is taking place? So this is the focus of discussion that we really want to go for. So the question is, the churches can be destroyed, statues can be destroyed, beliefs in these statues also can be destroyed, because Pradeep, can I have a glass of water? Thanks. So what ultimately is going to happen, your beliefs in the statues, as soon as the statues are gone, going to be replaced by the another statues, and meanwhile your faith in previous statue going to be replaced by another statue, and the faith. So all the things which are created in a material form to support the ideas also, also going to be questioned at some point. So the question is, how far should we go to establish our faith in the things which are material, which are supposed to represent spiritual? How much of a twisting of your mind is going to require to make you believe in all these things? Tomorrow is going to come and they say a religion has started in the name of flowers. Say, believe in flowers, flowers is a religion. And just what Pradeep was saying, it's only material. The fragrance coming out is material. But then how else are we going to convince the next generation where the religion is, right? So, because every single object that we see has a temporary existence. Now we are fed up with flowers, because what do the flowers do? They open up in the morning, and the evening they're gone.
Right.
And the flowers have a season. How are we going to tell your child that dahlias are so beautiful? You should believe the dahlias, you bring them home, pay $10, and the next day they're gone.
Right.
So how are we going to create a permanent faith of a child, or even yourself, in something
Which is not
that is
permanent.
not permanent? So we have a real dilemma here. There was a monk, a Buddhist monk named Nagasen. Nagasen, he visited certain kingdom, and the king came to know that Nagasen is visiting. Nagasen had a very good reputation as a Buddhist monk, very well versed in the Buddhist religion and full of wisdom. And so king decided to invite him to the palace. So he sends the guard to the Nagasen, say, please come to the palace to see king. He would like to learn a few words of wisdom from you. So Nagasen says to the guard that, okay, I'll come, I have no problem. But let me warn you, there is nobody like Nagasen. There is nothing like Nagasen. So guard thought it was funny. He's here, he's talking to you, and he says, I'll be coming. So what is wrong with him? But I'm just the guard, I'm just the messenger. Let me just take the message back to the king. So he goes back to the king, to the palace, and he says, yeah, he said he'll be coming, but there is something wrong with him. He says, there is nothing like Nagasen. So I thought it was funny. But he's coming though. He says, just send a chariot and I'll come. So king sends the chariot. He comes by the chariot and he comes to the palace. And as he's getting off, king says, I'm really, it's my gratitude. Please accept my gratitude that you're coming. And I really appreciate, I'm honored that you came, Nagasen. He says, thank you for the invitation, but believe me, there is nobody like Nagasen, but I'm here, so let's have the conversation, whatever we had intended. So king says, just answer me one question. Why you keep on saying that there is nobody like Nagasen? He says, I'll make the point clear. He says, the chariot that brought me here, take the horses out. He says, okay. So the horses are taken out. And Nagasen says, are these horses the chariot? He says, no, horses are horses. This is chariot. He said, okay. Now, the pieces of wood that connected the horses to the chariot should be removed. So the servants removed the piece of wood that was connecting the shaft. He said, is this shaft a chariot? He said, no. This is chariot. So he said, all right, the wheels of the chariot should be removed. So they removed the wheels. Are this chariot? No. This is not chariot. This is chariot. Little by little, all the pieces were removed. Every single piece of nails and every piece of connecting pieces, every platform, everything was removed. And everything was just fallen apart. He says, where is the chariot now? There is no chariot now. But just half an hour ago, you said chariot was here. You called it a chariot. What happened? He says, we all are assembled.
Some of the
From
parts.
the raw material, from all the parts. We all have a temporary existence that we just happen to identify each other. All these God statues are created temporarily. All these flowers are created temporarily. But there is some major cosmic intelligence that is at play. And we have to think of that is the true religion. So any religion that makes you, remind you of that cosmic intelligence, but not the things which are synthesized temporarily, including you.
Clothes, color.
Assemble
Right.
together. It's
We
assembly.
are on the assembly line.
Right.
And we are assembled temporarily,
Yeah.
but we should not forget our non-assembled existence. And any religion that reminds you of that is a true religion. Mahavir, Buddha, they all felt, they connected at the soul level to the higher self. They connected, they realized the true existence. They were not mesmerized by the peacock feather on the Krishna's head. They were not
Bansuri.
carried away by the flute of, they were not carried away by any of the symbols of the religion that were being carried along. And they explored themselves, within themselves. And then ultimately they reached to the point where the consciousness connected itself with the consciousness within the Mahavir, within the Buddha, within the Muhammad, and within the Christ. And that connection, that spark that happened was a true spark. And that was the true religion. And that religion did not come on the face of the earth for you and for me. It came only for them. As soon as they are gone, it goes back. It merges back to the grand, infinite consciousness again. It's like a lamp. The material for the lamp was created from the matter. It was assembled for that purpose. Just like the chariot, just like you, just like me. We are all assembled. So all these lamps made out of soil, the mud, the clay, they are just ready to receive the spark of the consciousness. And then when that happens, the lamp is lit up. But as soon as the lamp, the brightness, all that dies out, the show is over. Now, based on whatever happened, whatever incidents took place, so-called religions start. So the religions that we call religions start after that mega event that took place
It's
at
already
one
late.
time.
It's already late. Past it.
It's
After
past it all.